is ready, though. Let's see where we're going.
Fnatic picks Dragonshire. The world we live in right now, where Fnatic actually doesn't ban Dragonshire, but they pick it. A lot has changed with Quarknix moving to Zealots, to Roll20 now, and Shrimpy taking over the draft duties here, and calling duties now for Fnatic. So yeah, Dragonshire taken. Team Liquid has played the map a lot in the past too, 4 wins, 1 loss for them, so they feel confident here as well. And with Dragonshire, again, Dehaka is a hero that we're going to focus on. Urel on the top lane, very powerful, both of them. Tyrande is going to take a big position here too. I'm ready for game 3.
I feel like a lot of Fnatic's success so far in this series has been winning team fights by being aggressive. And Dragonshire, in my opinion, is a much more cerebral battleground. Do you think this kind of heavy rotation macro strategy battleground better helps Team Liquid, or does it hurt their chances?
I think it's still pretty even. When we are talking about Fnatic, we also know that outside of Urel being played a lot by Last Hope recently, his Dehaka is great. We've seen fantastic play on the hero from Eternal now, but it's something that also Last Hope is very good at. And so the macro aspect of the game and running the globe is something that he knows how to do. And they can play that style. They actually had a map where they had I gotta admit that I forgot who they played against, but I remember that they lost draft. Was it against Granite? I'm not quite sure, but they lost the draft and they had a really weak one on the map, and they played extremely well around their opponent. I think it was a Roll20 actually, who never really had the success in forcing a fight the way they wanted. But from Fnatic's perspective, it was a lost draft, and they played extremely well around the opponent on Dragonshire to make sure that at the end they actually came out ahead. And that proved to me at that point that they are now at that moment when they have the synergy as a team where everyone knows what they expect it to be and where they also can follow the macro calls more so than only winning team fights. So it was pretty cool back then. So I'm not sure if the map really favors any team particularly. I would actually say no. It's most of the draft that I'm really intrigued with what's going to happen here then towards the end.
I would largely agree. I was just curious to see what your insight on that was, because it does feel like to me over the course of the series, both teams have gotten the drafts that they want and the overall strategy that they want. It's just a raw test of wills. It's not like one team's being heavily denied. Sometimes there's a tier advantage that forces out a more passive posture, sure. But right now we're just seeing 2 teams clash at 100%, and Fnatic is just somehow coming out on top.
I mean, it is incredibly close, and Liquid had just different approaches to the games. Infernal Shrines, for example, they heavily focused on winning the objective over necessarily taking the immediate team fight. And Fnatic at the beginning just accepted that and said, okay, we can't win the Punisher right now. We have to wait for later on and then get our kills, and that happened. And then the last map really came down to the wire too. Abathur being banned, and even the respect ban against Tracer here. The Tracer all of a sudden ban-worthy. First pick, Muradin, strong on the map, leaves Tyrande open. And with Muradin already chosen, Fnatic has to immediately think, okay, do we pick her? If we don't, we open up a world where Liquid gets both of them and then can follow the stun circles once more. So Fnatic, Urel, is that a thought process for them? Do they value Dehaka as a global more so because of Dragonshire the map? Junkrat Urel, letting Tyrande go even.
I'm telling you, man, Team Liquid, they just don't like Breeze. He's like, I'm not even in the game and you guys are targeting me. You're going to ban Diablo and then first pick Murden and leave Tyrande potentially out there. I like the shift in strategy. I think Team Liquid do need to shake things up in the draft while continuing to play the way that they have.
How would you want to do that, though?
I'm glad I'm not playing. I'm just talking. I'm glad I'm just talking about.
I mean, I feel like they have a couple of avenues. They can play the Tyrande style again, and that's what they do.
There they go.
I think for Dragonshire, it's a great approach to take. Something else that they could have thought of, but that would have been more of an earlier approach, is let Diablo go through and try to go for that Diablo Rel play themselves. Maybe take Triel for the solo lane. If anything, I'm a bit surprised that they didn't commit to Dehaka already, but that shows me only that they are absolutely okay playing either Dehaka as the global or go into a Blaze and simply play around Protect the backline. So those are the 2 approaches for me. And Fnatic shuts one out because, I mean, that's the gamble you take. If you are Liquid, you know that heading into the 3rd ban, Fnatic is going to target the solo lane if you do not take one of them earlier. So they just accept that they are going to play a play around Blaze. Don't really see them. I mean, Malthael comes to mind. Leoric is an option that we don't see too often these days. Out of the choices that they have right now, even with Thrall still on the table and Liquid prioritizing him a bit, I would still think that Blaze is for them the most valuable hero to take that can also deny a lot of the play potential from Fnatic's perspective.
the Maiev ban there to further protect the back line. I feel like the gamble that Team Liquid is going for in taking Hanzo and Tyrande in the 2-3 is that they feel they'll get more value out of Hanzo than they would Dahaka. And the way we saw Team Liquid look dominant in the team fights last game was by having Eternal Burrow in to land the right track, to land in isolation. So the Hanzo play has to be really on point to justify that decision, in my opinion. It's going to be that much more difficult when you're dealing with Decker, Kane, and the stalwart frontline that is Johanna.
Yeah, so Johanna now for Breeze with the bans that we've seen on the heroes, that makes sense. They could have gone into Garrosh, but I like Johanna a lot for them. Again, Johanna provides the extra wave clear. It's one of the tools that you have in the arsenal right now that you can use. If you're playing around the Garrosh, you're mostly looking towards displacement with Junkrat as a combo too. But if you want to have these quick rotations between lanes, that helps. Ooh. And also having the blind helps very much so against Tyrande here. But Liquid actually on the solo lane heads into Malthael, so no Blaze for them. Leaves them a bit more on the squishier side with their backline, especially on Hanzo, Tyrande, and the Jaina that they just picked up. So that makes that a little bit trickier to survive. But the damage potential that you get out of this is pretty good.
Yeah, if someone's caught out on Fnatic, that you might need more than Ardent Defender. Like, that is a lot of burst damage. Last Rites is definitely going to raise the brow of the front line of Fnatic. And this is Jimmy rounding it out for Fnatic.
But I mean, it goes both ways, right? Because if someone gets caught out on Liquid side, it's basically a kill.
Yeah.
If you look at the hit point pool of Jaina, Hanzo, and Tyrande, they really depend a lot on them having the engage, them making the move, or if not, then at least being able to rely to an escape tool, which mainly applies to Hanzo in this setup. But you're having Junkrat with a Riptire, which can really secure a kill quite easily. And Johanna, of course, outside of only running with Condemn. Once that you have that Blessed Shield available and you follow that up with any additional CC, let's say Deckard Kane, focused damage on one of those three heroes should drop them quickly. So Liquid is playing, I feel, a game right now where they are taking a bit more of a high-risk, high-reward situation. They have a good cleanse to the Celestial Attunement on level 1 from Tyrande. They have some blow-up potential, but if the fight turns against them and they don't get a quick kill, then they have a lot of squishies on that side that have tough time staying alive.
What I love is the overall versatility that we're seeing out of both of these teams. Last game, we saw Fnatic going for more of the team kill, the blow-up composition. Now this time, it's Liquid going for that, and Fnatic is going for a much more, we'll play around our opponent, we'll have the wave clear, we have Johanna, we have Junkrat, but we can also get takedowns once we have to. When you have two teams this evenly matched, this highly skilled, you can see a lot of strategies.
Yeah. I personally would really... I mean, this is one of the things where you really want to talk to them a bit, because obviously there's a thought process coming in. You have Malthael who can really just get those kills after the burst initially and then get the last rights in. There's also sustain that he has available to himself, which is cool. But from a survival perspective, Blaze would have been the weapon of choice. You have a stun that Muradin and Hanzo Tyrande can all capitalize on depending on how that chain goes. But you also have the bunker, and that eliminates a little bit of the concerns that I have right now with seeing how squishy that backline is. But again, Malthael is a bit more aggressive on that side. So there's points for both. I'm pretty sure they discussed both points.
Oh, yeah.
But I would love to hear that argument on their voice, because that's going to be a big impact on the game.
Game number 3 is upon us. Hopefully not the last of the series. On the left, it's Team Liquid. Hasawabs is on Jaina. Arcana's playing Hanzo. Sport Billy's playing Muradin. Eternal is on the Angel of Death Malthael. And Nurak again will be looking to land Lunar Flares with Tyrande.
And over to the right side of the map with a significant lead in this series and potentially finishing out this with a 3-0. We have Fnatic with Mena on Junkrat, Breeze on Johanna, Shrimpy this time playing on Reyna, Smexy on Deckard Kane, and Last Hope on Urel. Third time in a row right now. He really likes his Urel, and for very good reason. He's fantastic on the hero. They have a fantastic win rate with Urel as well. We actually have a bit of an adjustment in talents here. Look at that. We finally see the Kaldrai resistance. Bit of a misspelling there in the name Blizzard. I'm sure you can fix that. But yeah, we get the spell armor.
I'm actually kind of surprised at that. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, as far as spell armor goes, you have Raynor and Junkrat. Like, that's more auto-attack focused damage. It's more auto-attack focused blow-up. If you were dealing with Kael'thas or Jaina, then I immediately understand the decision. But in this, it's somewhat vexing to me.
I think the concern here is Junkrat. Yeah. Oh, wait a second. Freeze. Nah, you should be fine there. I think the concern is pretty much Junkrat when it comes to the spell armor, because Riptire is a huge problem later on. Again, I mean, I mentioned in the draft, the squishies that you have, the Hanzo, Jaina, Tyrande, if a Riptire hits them and they already have taken damage through poke earlier, they are basically just doomed. The resistance talents, the spell armor talent from Tyrande on level 1 is going to help with that a lot. And also the random damage coming out of Junkrat is going to be negated by that to a heavy extent. I still could have seen them go into the cleanse, simply because you have the Arcane on the other side. And what worries me a bit on their part is the Blessed Shield. If you can cleanse that out, then you can deny a lot of the engagement opportunities that Fnatic is going to be looking for. But the thought process is absolutely understandable considering the squishy backline that they have.
I mean, that's a really good point. I feel like if that is the decision, if they're doing that specifically for the Riptire, we're seeing such a high-level macro-conscious decision that's what we come to expect at a high-level HGC hero.
I mean, it's not only the Riptire. If you think about it, I mean, you throw those heals out regardless, right? It's not a cleanse like you traditionally have, where you have an extra ability and an extra cooldown, so you're going to heal anyways. So when you throw that out, a lot of that damage that Junkrat uses for poke is going to be negated through that. So the Riptire is just an additional layer on top of that, where you can specifically negate a certain ability, but even outside of that, you're going to get value.
Stormbolt goes in, Sportbilly looking to wake Breeze up. Last Hope leading the charge. They still have their Bruiser camp. The blind goes out. We see Shrimpy out in the flank, just auto-attacking to his own delight. And right now, both of these shrines are picked up, but Hanzo's hanging out mid. He's shown on mid, so we could see Fnatic just look to continue to push. Yeah,
Fnatic is trying to get turrets here, trying to get a bit more of an experience lead. They're dealing very well with the aggression or the kill potential that Liquid has so far. But now again, Billy with the stun combo, Iron Skin comes through, so has the time to use that. And Fnatic just keeping up those rotations, and that works well for them up to this point.
I think that moment right there is exactly why Breeze is happy. He's on Johanna right now, last game on Murden. That could have been the setup for the beginning of the end of his life, but Iron Skin is going to be available more often than not to allow the front line to set up big plays for heroes or players like Shrimpy and Min.
I mean, Nuruk already has 4 stacks on his level 4 talent, so they're really working on getting these stacks together. The Stormbolt into the stun. Haven't really found a lot of value out of it yet. There's not a single kill on board yet, but again, the idea, of course, is the same. We heard Nanda talk about it in the previous series, but especially when you're going on this map up against this particular combo, with even more burst damage than Granite Gaming had to face, it's important that you don't give your opponent too many opportunities to set this up. Heavy invaded the bot lane now, though. Fnatic still willing to commit to it. Mena is in the area, so they have enough to just poke and also have that displacement. So good zoning here from Smexy. Mena still close enough so that he can have an impact and join the fight if need be. And Fnatic is not going to get scared away. They take the Siege Giants, no matter the pressure.
Something just cracks me up about Murden walking around. Like, he just comes around the corner and Sportbilly sees a Siege camp. He's like, ooh, what are you guys doing? But there is no heavy engagement. Momentarily, both shrines picked up by Team Liquid. British says not so much. Siege camp was snapped away by Fnatic, and we've seen them get a lot of value by pushing with these camps. We could see more of that over the course of the game.
Right now, more damage coming out of Reyna in particular as he's trying to push through with him. Billy jumping in, looking for a Stormbolt, and misses out on it. So the follow-up doesn't connect either. Nice move by Fnatic, not really just rushing back and having a predictable escape path. Instead, trying to be a little bit more erratic in the way that they move so that those stuns cannot connect with them. And that's really important with this. And I mean, I want to come back to this also really quickly. I mentioned this earlier when we saw the previous series with Method. Oftentimes when they ran a Muradin and Tyrande, the damage output was mainly auto attack damage, Phoenix for example. And I mentioned back then that in days of old you saw mostly Jaina with it and then Li Ming later on, and that's exactly the setup that Liquid is running. So we're having again that heavy burst damage, and Liquid hasn't found the kill yet. And the problem is that with a comp like this, you want to have early kills. You don't want to trade evenly into the mid and late game. And they're even falling behind as Fnatic is taking the opportunity to grab the Dragon Knight.
I do think Hazawabs was in a position where he could have potentially got there in time to interrupt that. Not sure if they were just caught flat-footed, but either way, I'm 100% with you with this composition. Team Liquid needs to get takedowns early and often if they really want to establish themselves and force out game number 4. With the Dragon Knight getting picked up with so little resistance towards Fnatic, they have to feel real confident about their ability to close this out 3-0.
I mean, look how this is running right now. They get the stun against Shrimpy, but only one because Sportbilly was going for Breeze. Breeze popped the Iron Skin immediately, no stun connects. And then, as they're trying to converge onto Reyna, because he also doesn't have the escape tool, what happens? Breeze pops the Condemn that he was holding back the entire time and interrupts the flow so that there is no coordinated attack against him. So this is exactly what Fnatic needs to do throughout the game. But let's not forget, that Fnatic, even with the Dragonite, is still behind in experience. So Liquid might not find the kills. It is definitely an issue for them. They are not getting the early lead that they were hoping for with this, and this is a problem, especially because they have a lot of squishy heroes, and later on that can become a massive problem with Junkrat, of course, spiking. But Liquid is still doing fine right now. They're not falling too far behind, and Fnatic has to keep their concentration throughout the game. If at any point they're starting to lose heroes to those chains and stagger deaths, then Liquid can still snowball this.
Yeah, Team Liquid is definitely, it seems like they're more investing towards the late game. They're continuing to get soaked. They're making sure they're not falling behind. Even though you lose the objective, activate your heroics first. Arcaner, gonna have to follow up after the Tyrande stun and Muradin Stormbolt. Also in the top lane, we do see the Bruiser camp that was walked up, and there is a rotation. It looks like Team Liquid could potentially be looking at Urel, but they didn't see anyone on the mini-map. Urel's like, yeah, not so much, I'm back now.
Now let's talk a bit about the ideal scenario for Liquid. If this is a comp that you're running as a 5-man in a quick match, team league, unranked draft, whatnot, your ideal dream would be to just always stack the combo between getting stuns and then killing through last rites with Jaina. If that actually happens and you get the cooldown reduction on last rites over and over again, that would be the dream come true for Liquid, where they just move through the map and they always get a Muradin stun into the Hunter's Mark, into the stun through Tyrande, and then both Malthael and Jaina go in, unleash everything, get the kills, you get the stacks on last rites, and you can set that combo up more and more often as the game progresses. That's the ideal scenario. It's very unlikely to happen because Fnatic is going to be looking at that and saying, okay, we need to dodge out on it, we need to pop our Iron Skin early, we need to make sure that we are just interrupting the flow of our opponent by jumping in with Urel, pushing them back, using the Condemn, just making sure that they can't coordinate.
I was looking at the top of the screen the whole time, and Jaina took a long time to finally lock in their heroic. I was like, will we see the Ring of Frost? Will we see the heavy commitment to this Wombo blow up, let's get the takedown right now style of composition? But the Water Elemental is a more standard choice, is a more conservative choice, allows for heal, gives more presence on the front line potentially. So they're not looking for the home run swing. That's what that says to me.
It also helps to try and control a few of the heroes more that really annoy you right now, especially the front line. Trying to make sure that they are not getting as much of a nuisance. We also have 10 stacks by now on Norok's level 4 talent, so we are definitely seeing him increasing on the damage output here as well. That's additional 50% damage that you currently have with that. So Luna flares are definitely hitting home. Both teams here, as they're fighting over the Dragonite again. Waiting for level 13 to come in. Schwimpy with good damage against Sport Billy. Again, dodging out on the stun here. So far, well done. Top lane is also fighting over the point. Urel is doing well against Malthael here, at least for the time being, but Eternal is starting to get some value, and Last Hope decides to pull the plug and moves out.
There's the Water Elemental. Team Liquid look to step forward. There's the Lornado, another zoning gesture from Smexy. A bit ago, we saw him throw the root down just to isolate Sport Billy for them to put more damage on him. That kind of play, that high-level macro consideration, is what starts to stack up and potentially leads towards takedowns later on.
Liquid has the earlier 13, and Urel finally takes control over the top shrine, so that is going to put pressure onto Liquid in the middle. 13 talents here now for both teams, immediately locked in as well. The Ancient Blessing is going to be huge for Decatane here. Smexy has a lot of heal potential now with all of this. Shrimpy hasn't really made his choice just yet.
So far, I'm really impressed with Fnatic's ability to just stop the overall advance from Team Liquid. It seems like anytime Team Liquid steps forward, someone from Fnatic just holds their palm out to Team Liquid's forehead and just like, you can't punch me from here. Anytime there's someone trying to step up, there's a Lornado, there's a Root, there's a slow from Decatane, there's Johanna being a hero at all. Right now, the full merits of this composition for Team Liquid is just not come online.
Fnatic is really holding back that 13 on Reyna. I really expected that to be locked in already quite some time ago. And, I mean, Giddy Up has been taken a ton of times here and would be a great pickup for him. Not quite sure why he's hesitating like this long. I guess the Riptire though has Ops losing. This is one of the problems. You lose nearly half of your HP immediately. Dragonite attempt here, but could be channeled out at the bot lane. Yeah, Muradin jumps in and takes over, so Joanna doesn't even try it, but Hazops is now in trouble and he goes down, and I think Malthael is going to be a second.
Last Hope is over here. He's playing checkers. He's the king. He's double jumping all over the place. Eternal is going to back away. Breeze in the crew looking to chase him down. There's another jump from the GOAT and the Junkrat mine. Eternal laces up the Nikes, but it's not going to be enough. Last Hope is on a trampoline always. That is the second takedown of Fnatic.
Good kills for Fnatic. 2 first kills in the game too. And I actually think Shubi forgot to take his talent. Like, I'm honestly, I'm looking at it right now and I'm like wondering, what are you waiting for? We had it in the past times where you would wait for an opponent to take a talent so that you could make an adjustment on your own. But there's no way you do that, as Liquid has already locked in their 13 talents a while ago. There's nothing really that you have to wait for. So now he locks in Giddy up. I actually think he just forgot to take it. It popped during the team fight. He probably thought he pressed the combo. Not quite sure. Maybe I'm missing something here, but it looked a bit weird.
He has the murky announcer, so all he heard was he didn't hear, like, you know, new talent available. Finally, ultimately, is going to be able to pick that up. Fnatic surges ahead in experience. They own both of the shrines for the moment. Rounding the corner of level 16, Water Elemental wades around the corner. Just get a little bit of vision for the moment. Sportbilly and the crew, Avatar was used. We do not have the Water Elemental available either. This could be a big play.
Yeah, the camp is going to get value topside. And now, of course, Team Liquid has control over the 2 shrines for the time being. That needs Fnatic into a position here. Again, the second stun misses. Liquid is doing pretty well trying to connect those 2 stuns. They're not doing too bad. And Nurog has now 19 stacks already. But in crucial moments, there were always a few issues where they couldn't really get most out of it. The thing is, Johanna doesn't fall if he connects it either. So yes, it would be better if they would be able to get more damage out of that. But Reese was very safe in the mid lane, saying, you are not going to get a Dragon Knight. Not on my watch. I am not going to be sitting there. You will get interrupted if you try. And now, of course, we have that rotation coming in with the 16 talent where Fnatic claims control of the bot lane. And it allows them even to take another camp. So their play around mercenary camps is currently pretty strong.
Fnatic, it feels like they have 7 heroes on the map. They just have something of a strong presence everywhere. Right now, we see him out there rotating down top. Nobody was there for Fnatic. The Bruiser camp is going to get picked up, though, and we've seen them get value off of these camp pushes. They could be looking to do the same. Junkrat does jump back to go get the siege camp. So right now, it just feels like Fnatic keeps dumping pressure on Team Liquid. Get a camp, get another one, make them respond, and Team Liquid have not found a way to get on the offensive.
But Liquid has no exposure now, and that might be great for them to get that kill finally. Good Riptire. Shrimpy eating the arrow, but the Riptire denied a lot of that. The kill is still coming through. Ardent Defender not used. Last Hope falls without popping his ult. Too many CCs there, and him not in time with the R button. And of course, as I just said, not an exposure now on the side of Jaina helps Hazops to also increase his burst damage by quite a bit. So that's a great kill against Urel. And therefore, Fnatic now on the back foot have to try and struggle through this.
That was a melted down health bar. We see Fnatic down 1 hero. Arcana is going to be able to pick up. Sportbilly jumps out of nowhere. It's Batman Day, apparently. He jumps over there. There's the Lunar Flare, lands on the Smexy. Sportbilly backs away. Nobody's mid. Or Jaina's rotating mid, but Junkrat's already up top to take that. Small window for Dragon Knight, not so much.
It might be Batman Day in the US, but Muradin ain't no Batman. Batman would have gotten that kill, no problem, and he wouldn't have stopped at 1. He would have gone for the team wipe there. So Stormbolt doesn't connect. Fnatic again. Fnatic hesitates half a second before they move back in a lot of these cases, and that makes it hard for Sportbilly to connect with the Stormbolt. And now we have Urel back on the map, so Fnatic has weathered the storm. We're able to make sure that there's no Dragon Knight on the opponent's side, but they still have to fight back for control on those shrines again, and that's what currently Last Hope is doing again at the top lane, where he takes back at least one of the 2.
The Water Elemental goes down, and Breeze is like, that's a pretty nice heroic you got there. It'd be a shame if I was somehow able to just make myself unstoppable and walk away. So that is 40 seconds without a heroic and a resource should Fnatic try to press the advantage. Blizzard doing a wonderful job clearing out the siege camp. There's a huge fight brewing over this bottom shrine. Dragon Arrow is going to airball.
Yeah, no hit now, and this is where Fnatic is trying to run around. Bless shield is up, and they're using it right away. Billy being attacked here. Shrimpy with the auto attack damage, focusing Hazops next, and really getting those numbers up. Great play, forcing Liquid back here. But Liquid has taken the control of the top shrine for now. The rotation between the 2 solo laners, Malthael and Urel, is currently going in favor of Liquid. Trying to at least recapture one. It's just the entire time. It's just always the trade-off. You get the top, you lose the bottom. They're rotating around here, and very few kills. Only 3 so far. Nearly the same experience here. Structures on the map. Nearly identical. Not a single Fortress fall yet, but there's Mena. Is able to move out. Was in trouble for a second, but before any stun connects, he's able to jump out.
For 16 minutes of this game, Kyler, it's pretty much been musical shrines where someone if they hold on it for more than 30 seconds, I'm surprised. Sport Billy waiting out in the bush. Arcana showing themselves in lane. 3 heroes down in the bottom for Fnatic. Anyone want to waltz in? Breeze is waiting for him. Sport Billy takes the bait, but Last Hope potentially caught out. Does have the Ardent Defender, jumps over the wall, avoids the full damage of the Blizzard with the jukes, has another jump, he escapes.
Yeah, gets out there, still had the Ardent Defender ready. That's a lot of resources that Team Liquid just committed to that top pressure, and he's able to move out. Fnatic is trying to respond in kind of the bot lane and gets a few towers as a result. And again, we're talking experience, we're talking race to 20, and Fnatic has taken that lead earlier on already, but now they have taken that half-level lead, take another camp, and the push at the bot lane continues throughout all of this. They're actually making a lot of headway at that fort.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job forcing or punishing the decisions of Team Liquid. Dragon Arrow goes out, buys enough time for the rest of the rotation, goes in. There's the Lornado. A good amount of damage is going in on Swimpy, but there's the Riptire. The last right's a hair late. Not really going to do too much to Raynor. Another attempt from Team Liquid bearing no fruit.
A 5-man against 4, so 5-man rotation from Liquid, and they used so much there. They used their arrow, they used the last right, they do everything at Fnatic in this case. And now at least they get a camp out of it, but look at that top lane pressure again. There's another camp that is going to push down a fort now, so Fnatic is slowly and steadily not only taking 20, but they're also starting to take way more infrastructure on the map.
Yesterday in NA, we saw some really interesting shenanigans on Dragonshire where the top lane was ignored, and you're almost a wizard, Uriel. But the Dragon Knight is going to get picked up. Fnatic with the weakened fort down bottom, claiming the top fort for free with the Bruiser camp. They now enjoy a slight experience lead and tier advantage. They're rocking and rolling in this bottom.
Yeah, if you want to go for Hogwarts Owl, you still have to go a little bit to practice camp because that was not quite on the mark. But it was close, given that. And now we're having a Dragon Knight marching through the bot lane. Both teams on Storm Talons. 18, creating a bit of space here. Lornado already thrown out very early there. And let's see how much Fnatic is going to get out of this one. You want to ideally have a keep here, but if you can just take down a couple of structures, that's at least something. Make sure that you at least hold the control of the map. And I mean, look at the minimap. Fnatic still has 3 fountains, 3 forts, and Liquid has already lost 2.
Fnatic is in a great position right now. They have all the time, 30 seconds or 38 seconds and counting down for the Dragon Knight. They're able to pick the wave up, but a lot of wave clears here on the side of Team Liquid. This long-range poke from Junkrat, now to level 20s here, is going to be more of a thing. Right now, Fnatic just keep their foot on the pedal, applying pressure to Team Liquid, but so far they're withholding.
Yeah, Fnatic is waiting for the next minion wave. You want to have the minion wave so they can soak a few of the shots so you get a bit more value out of that. So they're not quite getting the keep, maybe, with a poke.
Auto attack?
But the minion wave is a crucial part. You don't want to YOLO into the structure. So nice. Keep goes down, but Liquid attacks behind this. Good Lornado. Arcana's in a really tough spot, but Reyna falls regardless. Counter kill not possible at this point. And Last Hope might die as well. Uses the Ardent Defender, trying to move out here, but Uriel is gonna fall eventually. Or is she? Yeah! Good snipe from Norog. Alright, double kill against Fnatic. The problem is what do you get from it? Because you've just lost your keep, you get the double kill as a result, but there's 3 forts on the map. So what can you do in those 40 seconds that you have now, outside of taking a fort?
We're about to find out. Team Liquid, it looked like Murden was flirting with the idea of going for the siege camp. Breeze is going to spot out the ultimate rotation. Bottom fort goes down. Few minions left alive, but the Junkrat poke is going to lay waste to those. With the minion wave already diminished down, looks like we're going to see Eternal just try to keep some of the pressure going, soften things up so the siege camp can get picked up. But right now, Team Liquid, while they're not able to get too much, you lose your bottom keep, but at least that's proof of concept. They can potentially turn this in-game around.
Yeah, but still, you have to. The situation is still better for Fnatic. Having the bot keep eliminated is great, and they have their heroes back up on the map before the next Dragon Knight spawns. They lost 1 fort out of this, and that is definitely manageable. Reyna needs to be careful here. Arrow into Stormbolt, and goodbye, Jimmy.
Arcaner with the Galaxy Brain, 250 IQ, throws the Dragon Arrow. Schwimpy jukes up, gets tagged in the face. A huge opportunity. Team Liquid, with these staggered deaths, are buying their way back into this game.
This is exactly what Liquid needs, and we've been highlighting this from the start of the game. If you are running the Tyrande composition and this many stuns, if you run the CC kill combo, you want to get those kills. And you could actually see that Jimmy was just outside of the gate, but that's enough. That's all that you need. The first stun connects and you're dead. There's nothing else happening. The only reason or the only way you can survive is if your teammates are there to heal for you. If Johanna uses the Condemn or the Blessed Shield to stop the opponent, the Lornado comes through, and that wasn't the case. And now Liquid wants the DK, of course. And they have another 17 seconds, 15 seconds on the map where they have a chance to make that. Urel is taking bot lane. Already, we're seeing the Iron Skin used from Breeze to move away. 6 more seconds. Could be a rotation to the top. They're at the bottom of the map for now. Fnatic is just buying the time to make sure they have a 5-man back on the map.
Yeah, Fnatic don't have to do anything else but buy enough time for Rainer to return, and they've been able to do exactly that. Arcana rotates down, is going to be able to pick up the Shrine. Fnatic, they're not anywhere near this. The Junkrat grenades are going to be late, and Team Liquid, even though everyone was back from Fnatic, they managed to steal away that Dragon.
Yeah, Johanna at the top lane was not in time, and now they have to defend against this. And this is a massive issue. Fnatic was ahead. They have taken that early keep, but then Rainer falls just after he comes back, and all of a sudden you're talking about a 21-22 minute Dragon Knight, and Fnatic, they have the poke. They might have enough to burst that beast down, but it is going to be really tricky, since Liquid is looking not only to get that keep, Liquid is looking to get a kill and go for the core.
You got to keep an eye on how much value Junkrat's going to get. There's the Riptire, has the health bar of Hasselhoff's, but he is going to be able to get patched up. Nurak helping the advance forward. Dragon Knight, Malthael in that. No last rights available to make short work of the bottom keep wall. Do they advance further? They still have time. They can get the next minion wave. What happens next could decide this game.
You got to wait for the arrow. Arrow is what you have to watch out for. Arcana's going to look for it. The Banshee is already attacking him here. That keep is very likely to fall. It should fall. It has to fall. But the Dragon Knight is so low that it's unlikely that Liquid can go for the core. But they at least are able to set off the bot lane. And the arrow that Arcana throws out to try and see if they can get more misses.
Many look back and like, oh, there's a tumbleweed blowing by, guys. We don't have to worry about that. There's the Lunar Flare to connect. Last Hope stepping forward, trying to see if he can chase someone down. Sport Billy misses the Storm Bolt. There's the jump to help him get away. We do have Lornado of
5 seconds.
A few seconds before the Blessed Shield comes out. You know Breeze is looking to throw that for you.
Yeah, 5 seconds, 2 seconds. He has it now, but he has only one target, and I don't think they can take Billy. They go in, the Blessed Shield comes out, they're trying to go for the killer. Lornado's already out, Last Hope has to retreat here, and we again have the Water Elemental in play. Lornado pushing them out here. The damage from Shrimpy as he starts to go in for Sport Billy, but the Avatar is already popped. Stuns again, and this time it's time for Breeze to maybe fall. Gets the damage, but no kill, and barely Billy is able to escape as well. Both of the tanks heavily bruised here.
Uh-oh, here comes the Riptire. Sport Billy's not going to be a fan of that. Eternal is going to get blown up and somehow survives. Calculated, not even close. Team Liquid managed to stay alive. They lose no heroes to come away with the bottom. Keep even that pressure up. 23 minutes, 24 minutes in this game, Caldor. It's still anybody's.
Nurak saving Malthael there. Has to detonate the Riptire a bit earlier than he probably wanted to. And that saves that saves Malthael barely. So Eternal is able to survive 4 kills against 2, 22 in levels, 24 minutes into the game. Next Dragon Knight is going to finish this 100%. But right now, it might not even come to that. One team fight is all that's needed here. If one of the teams take the kills, they will go for the core right away. But the Shrines are already activating in 27.
Breeze gets spotted, has the Iron Skin. They're going to continue to harass. There's the Storm Bolt going out. Blizzard's going to drop also, but the Lornado smacks his leg. We're actually done with this fight. Could you not? Forces back Team Liquid.
This is getting a little bit intense. This is getting really crazy here. I mean, the Ice Blade arrows that we're seeing on Tyrande are so fantastic right now with these auto attacks and the damage reduction that comes through it. But then, of course, on the side of Rainer, for example, we have now the Dusk Wings taken, and he's really using that leash range. Here come the stuns again against Breeze, though. He should be fine with this. Urella's taken the top. And at the same time, we're seeing Hazops taking the bot lane. It's all going to be the Ring Around the Rosie play again, where you try to get that Dragon Knight.
Who gets caught out on rotation? The next takedown, we saw it last game. The Haka dies, game is over. Next time someone gets blown up with these bottom keeps already taken down and the win condition more than available, it's going to be lights out. Right now we see Muradin rotating up towards top. He wants that top shrine. We see some resources from Fnatic already there ready to defend mid. Junkrat's just clearing out the wave down bottom. This is an opportunity potentially for Team Liquid.
Liquid is playing a lot around vision. They're hiding as much as they can, and Fnatic as a result is playing incredibly passive, especially on solo lanes, because they know that one arrow from Hanzo is all that he needs to start a kill chain. They cannot escape. So Liquid will try and continue that play. Hide on vision as much as he can. Arrow comes through, doesn't hit anyone in the mid lane here. Nice move there again. I mean, I love that Arcana is throwing these out. If one of them connects, it's over. But Fnatic is so aware at this point of that threat. They're always watching, they're always calling it, and they're just making sure that these arrows don't connect, and then Liquid has nothing to really follow up on. It's difficult for Muradin to get close enough and hit that Storm Bolt and get a lot of value out of it. He wants to be the follow-up, not the initiator at this point, because if he missteps, then he can actually fall. This is getting absolutely insane here. We are already 26 minutes into a Dragonshire game.
Junkrat shows themselves top. They cannot let that Bruiser camp go. Hazoabs rotates down bottom. So again, it is a momentary all hands on deck towards mid. We do see Urel being able to take the top shrine back. Musical Shrines. The game continues. Even on experience, both teams rounding the corner of level 24 in this 26 near 27-minute game. It is still high stakes. The words you used earlier, Caldor, was intense. 100% accurate.
Yeah, and also Junkrat is of course increasing his stacks on his level 4 as well. Pace for Explosion is currently at 143 stacks, 145, and that's just going to continue. Again, fights are happening here, damage being thrown out, and Nena stacking up even more stacks on their talent. In the long run, that's going to increase his damage output by a lot. And they're actually trying to go in for Norok. The stuns are hitting Last Hope, though. He needs to be careful, but he's not the only one. Muradin gets blown up in the meantime as Fnatic finds the kill. Has the 5 versus 4 now. Riptire comes through, and they're going for Arcana, and that is it dead. Hanzo double kill as Fnatic is looking to end game number 3.
The Rip in Riptire blows up on Hanzo's face. That should pave the way for Fnatic to go over to the left side of this map and close this series out 3-0. An explosive team fight. Muradin, isolated from the rest of the team, hits the Dwarf Toss, gets taken down. The follow-up response, Fnatic, explosive gameplay. Beautifully done.
Yeah, that Dragonite is an absolute monster. If you think Godzilla or any of the Pacific Rim robots are tough to deal with, then you have not met that guy, because he is just a beast. He is going to easily scap that. The B-steps are coming out as the Dragonite is moving in. It's just a bit of a dance party that we're having here. That thing is just destroying Dragonite here with easy 10% on every single hit. The rest of the party is dancing. Everybody is well aware that you don't deal with the Dragonite here. This is game as Fnatic takes a clean 3-0 victory against Team Liquid in a highly contested game 3.
This was a 3-0 Caldor, but there's a huge asterisk next to that. There could have been easily a game or 2 or even 3 going over to Team Liquid. It always just came down to one important moment, one rotation, one team fight, one takedown has decided these games. I knew this match was going to be insane. I didn't think it was going to be that crazy.
Yeah, the result does in no way reflect how close a lot of these games were, but Fnatic is going to be very happy with the result regardless, increasing their map score by a lot and keeping their hopes of taking the number 2 spot alive. I can tell you who's going to scrim with Method next week every single day if they get that opportunity. Fnatic is at this point the biggest Method fan that you have ever seen in your entire life.